Hello, welcome to the Sidebar. I'm Charlie Bosco, and with the British Grand Prix looming, I thought I'd grab a word with TJ13's Editor-in-Chief, the Earl of Huntley Jacobs, otherwise known as AJ, to get a race preview. So, AJ, if Lewis leads one or more laps this weekend at Silverstone, he will break Jackie Stewart's 45-year-old record of leading 17 Grand Prix in a row. What better place to do it than at home?
Absolutely. And talking about records, we have to go back to the Canadian Grand Prix in 2011 for our last lap overtake to go on and win a Grand Prix. Jenson Button in the rain, Sebastian Vettel. So I think it's unlikely we're going to see the events of Austria again in Silverstone this weekend, but following that epic last lap, what we are all waiting for is the Mercedes AMG F1 team management decision on team orders. Toto Wolff was pretty angry following the coming together between Lewis and Nico, and he said that he didn't care who was to blame, which was interesting, but this all has to stop.
Do you think we might actually see some team orders?
I do, Charlie, but I think they'll probably be different from the Red Bull era in the days of Vettel and Webber, where whichever driver appeared ahead after the last round of pit stops was then allowed to sort of be frozen. The advantage was frozen and they went on to win the race.
So if we do get team orders from Mercedes, what are they likely to look like?
Well, personally, if it was me, I think the smart thing to do would be to keep it fluid. Let the pit wall decide depending on the circumstances. But historically, this is not the Mercedes way of doing things. So what we'll end up with is probably a highly prescriptive and codified manual, almost a legal document, that defines every potential eventuality where team orders will be deployed. So possibly something along the lines of what Mercedes were actually doing in 2014, which takes into account different race strategies, and then drivers might be forced to let the other driver through if they're on fresher rubber, and a different strategy.
A bit like Hungary 2014.
Yeah, when Lewis refused to let Nico through, even though Rosberg was stopping one more time. Absolutely.
Okay, Lewis, if you let Nico pass at this lap, please. Let Nico pass on the main start-finish straight.
I'm not slowing down for Nico. Get close and overtake, and you can overtake.
Turning our attention away from Mercedes, Ferrari are the most successful team in British Grand Prix history, won 16 times, 13 at Silverstone. So after Tiregate with Sebastian Vettel last weekend, will he be hopeful?
I'm sure he will be hopeful, Charlie. And there's a pretty poor weather forecast set for Northamptonshire. Lots of rain, big winds, cold conditions, so who knows, on Sunday anything could happen.
Well, the statistics say that 7 Grand Prix drivers have won their maiden victory in the British Grand Prix since 1950, so possibly a topsy-turvy race, a surprise outcome?
Yeah, Jolyon Palmer winning in a Renault? That would be a very, very big surprise, Charlie. Anyway, in other news this week, Honda have said that they're not sure about the future direction of their engine, whether they're going to scrap it and start again, or whether they're going to continue with the Revolution. So I think that's probably a little bit disconcerting for Jenson Button heading to his home Grand Prix. But the boys from Woking are sneaking up on Toro Rosso. 36 Italian points plays 32 to the Brits at present. So a good result in inclement British weather for either Alonso or Jenson. You know, and we could see McLaren hit the heady heights of P6 in the Constructors' Championship.
Sticking with the McLaren theme, Fernando Alonso shares the record for pole positions at Silverstone with 3. However, of the last 20 races there, only 4 have been won from pole.
Yeah, it's not that important, is it? And one last thing, really, this year's British Grand Prix is an absolutely monster event for Nico Rosberg. With less than a minute to go last weekend, he was heading to Silverstone with a big 31-point lead ahead of his teammate. Now it's just 11 points. How will he respond, Charlie? I mean, for me, barring mechanical failures, Rosberg needs to once again rise and show his mettle, because despite some of the PR woes Lewis has had in the media this week about smashing rooms up in Baku and lies and all this kind of thing, he's going to be really hungry to equal Nigel Mansell's Silverstone record of 4 wins.
Thanks, AJ. Certainly a massive weekend for Mercedes and several other teams. Make sure you check thejudge13.com on Monday for the race review.